Welcome to This Explainer, where we are completely breaking down the ultimate referee's rulebook in the high-stakes game of Singapore real estate. If you've ever bought, sold, or rented property here, you know exactly how intense the market can be. It's wild. But did you know there is actually a meticulously detailed playbook that dictates exactly how your agent must treat you?
Today, we're mapping out the Council for Estate Agencies Manual. We're going to breeze through establishing the relationship, core duties to clients, navigating conflicts of interest, special agent restrictions, verifying identities and details, and wrap up with the agency agreement. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so this official professional service manual, issued by the CEA, is the definitive guide that ensures your agent acts competently and ethically. It's essentially the DNA of professional client care in the entire industry. So let's look at exactly how this actually protects you as a consumer.
Section 1. Establishing the relationship. The first handshake.
The very moment you engage an agent, a formal relationship begins. And there is a strict, and I mean absolutely strict, no swapping rule. Imagine this scenario straight out of the manual. You engage salesperson A to sell your HDB flat, they handle the negotiations, they get the option to purchase signed, everything is going great. But then at the crucial HDB resale appointment, salesperson B suddenly shows up and says, "Hey, I'm taking over." Well, the manual explicitly states this is not allowed. No way. An agent cannot just pass you off to a colleague unless you, the client, specifically initiate or request that change. Basically, you get exactly who you hired.
Moving on to Section 2, Core Duties to Clients, Fighting for Your Bottom Line.
Once that relationship is locked in, your agent assumes a literal mountain of legally binding duties. They must act strictly within your authority and always in your best interest. They're bound by absolute confidentiality regarding your information. Plus, they must disclose all material facts, good or bad, you have to know, and communicate offers totally objectively. Interestingly, they're even required to advise you to seek independent professional help if a situation pops up that just exceeds their real estate expertise.
But their duties don't actually stop at just serving you. Crucially, your agent also has a duty to police the other side. Yeah, they are required to check the CEA public register to ensure the opposing agent is actually a registered professional. And if they find out the other person isn't registered, your agent is obligated to report the matter to the CEA immediately. It's a massive built-in layer of protection against scams.
All right, Section 3, Navigating Conflicts of Interest, the gray areas.
The manual is incredibly strict about agents avoiding situations where their personal interests might conflict with yours. But what exactly constitutes a related person? Well, the definition is extremely broad. We're talking spouses, parents, siblings, children, in-laws, and even business partners and employees. If an agent is related to the other party in your transaction in any of these ways, a potential conflict of interest is automatically deemed to exist.
And when these conflicts happen, verbal warnings? Yeah, those aren't going to cut it. Your agent absolutely must declare it in writing and get your written consent to continue. The manual actually gives a fascinating example here. What if your agent and the buyer's agent are from the exact same agency, and one is actually the team leader of the other, collecting an overriding fee from their commission? That has to be fully declared in writing to you. You have a right to know if the opposing agent is financially benefiting your agent behind the scenes.
Furthermore, under the estate agents regulations, dual representation isn't just frowned upon, it is literally a criminal offense. An agent cannot represent both the buyer and the seller, or the landlord and the tenant in the same transaction, period. And they definitely cannot collect a commission from both parties in the same deal. You can rest easy knowing your agent is in your corner and your corner only.
Section 4. Special Agent Restrictions. Keeping the market fair.
Think about this for a second. A registered agent has vastly more market knowledge than your average consumer, right? So if that agent is buying a property for themselves, the manual dictates they must declare they are an interested party up front, like literally at the beginning of the very first viewing. They absolutely cannot represent the seller in that transaction because obviously they have a vested interest in getting the absolute lowest price for themselves. Oh, and they cannot collect a co-broke commission from the seller either.
Also, there's a strict rule regarding power of attorney, or POA. Because of the massive inherent conflict of interest in directing funds, an agent cannot act as a power of attorney for a client they are actively representing in a property transaction. The manual advises that you should really have a family member or a close friend hold the POA instead.
Okay, Section 5, Verifying Identities and Details, the investigative duties.
So, your agent isn't just a salesperson. They are kind of an investigator too.
They're legally bound to perform rigorous checks before any papers are even signed. Consider this scenario: if a homeowner wants to rent their place to a foreigner, whose responsibility is it to ensure the tenant is actually a legal resident in Singapore? Is it just the landlord's problem if things go entirely sideways?
Surprisingly, no. Under the Immigration Act, both landlords and their agents effectively play border control. Your agent must execute this rigorous three-step verification process. They have to check the original passes for forgery, cross-check the photos with the actual person standing right in front of them, and then verify the validity online directly with the ICA or Ministry of Manpower. They even have to print out the acknowledgement slip as proof. They really can't just take a tenant's word for it. And they don't just verify people. They actually have to verify the property itself. Agents must cross-reference crucial property details using official government sources. We're talking checking the Singapore Land Authority for the exact tenure, the Land Titles Registry or HDB for the true floor area, and the URA website for the approved use of the property. This basically ensures that the beautiful brochure you're looking at completely matches the legal reality of the real estate.
Finally, Section 6, the Agency Agreement, the final paperwork.
This final piece of paperwork is really designed to tilt the power back to you, the consumer. The manual explicitly states that agents must give you sufficient time to read the agreement. They must explain the clauses to you. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us that your commission amount is not fixed by law. It is always, always subject to negotiation, and it has to be mutually agreed upon before you ever sign.
So, we've seen how the CEA manual builds this incredible fortress of rules to protect you. From demanding absolute loyalty and written conflict declarations, to basically turning agents into meticulous fact-checkers. So here is the question you really have to ask yourself before signing your next property agreement. Given everything you now know about the rulebook, do you know exactly who your agent is really working for? Hopefully, now you do.